Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, here with Chris James and Teron Davenport, and we're at the 2017 Reese's Senior Bowl. The South team just finished up their practice here at Ladd-Peebles Stadium. And Chris, what were some of your takeaways from this afternoon?
Really just seeing the one-on-one battles with the running backs versus the linebackers, as well as the tight ends versus the safeties. Getting to see them, how they protected in one-on-one drills, and also how they covered the linebackers versus those running backs.
And when the pads come on, we know blitz pickup is going to be key, and those running backs and linebackers really got after it. Teron, what was your takeaways from this afternoon?
Yeah, I definitely like those one-on-ones, the blitz pickup. I think there were some opportunities for smaller running backs to show that they're not afraid to go against bigger guys. I definitely, Pumphrey and Boulware, you saw that. But another thing that I took away was just the red zone one-on-ones between the receivers and DBs. You got to see a bigger guy like Rasul Davis. You got to see, or Douglas, excuse me. You got to see Trey Davis-White. You know, bigger guys kind of condense the field, get their hands on the receivers, and I wanted to see how the receivers were going to be able to keep, you know, from getting jammed at the line, and that one-on-one matchup was really good to see. So that would be my pull away.
I look at the offensive line and one-on-one drills. I thought those guys did a great job across the board, much better than what we saw yesterday. We saw the defense sort of win those battles. Today, I thought the offense did a great job. Ethan Posick of LSU in particular stood out to me. And just to start that off, Chris, who stood out to you the most today at practice on the South team?
On the South team, the guy that stood out the most is the guy who seems to stand out the most, period, and that's O.J. Howard. He looked like the most fluid, not only tight end, but he actually looked like a wide receiver when they lined him up on the outside. It looked like there was no struggle for him to do that. And in the blocking drills, gosh, he was able to handle anyone who was in front of him. It was very interesting. It's going to be interesting to see where he goes in the draft this year.
And again, it's not pumping up Howard as due to these practices. He's been like this his entire career. He just wasn't utilized as a wide receiver. We saw him have success as a blocker. So who's a guy for you that stood out today?
The guy that stood out to me was Josh Dobbs, and just the way he was able to consistently push the ball from hash to sideline. There was one of the throws that he made. They booted him out to the left side, and on the move, he threw the ball sideline, perfect throw. The receiver caught it. Was a contested catch, but just the way he was able to throw the football today, I mean, he was making the NFL throws, the throws that separate the men from the boys, and those throws are those deep out-breaking routes, and he was hitting them with consistency, and that impressed me. I didn't, coming into this, I didn't realize that he had that arm strength that he showed today, and you really saw it. So he was a guy that stood out to me, constantly giving his receivers opportunities to catch the ball.
Exactly. We got fourth quarter Josh Dobbs. We've seen that line in the sand where early in the game he might have to find his rhythm, but in the fourth quarter this guy turns into the man on the field. So we got to see that today in practice.
Yeah, he's one of those players that you definitely have to keep an eye on this weekend at the Reese's Senior Bowl. We have an interview with Josh Dobbs that we'll post later on our website at footballgameplan.com/2017 Senior Bowl. Be sure to tune in tonight as we post our podcast where we go more in detail from the North and South practice here at the 2017 Reese's Senior Bowl game.